What's going on, everybody? This is your main man, Mark Fuller, Free World Order, another video archive. Before I get started with today's topic, I would like to thank everyone for supporting the Free World Order. Those of you who engage and give feedback on the videos and on the posts that I put out on Facebook, thank you. Those of you that support us financially, we definitely appreciate you supporting us with money, because we are looking to raise $1 billion to start in order to build the first resource-based city in the world, in order to create the blueprint for what is possible for human beings to do without money. All right, let me go into my subject. Why does God get credit only for good things, or only when good things happen? Why does God get credit only when good things happen? I'm a logical person. I've come to realize that most people are not logical. I think that most people tend to lean in the direction of religion or belief in an outside entity that controls everything in our world. Now, this really doesn't make sense, because if there was an entity, or is an entity, that is outside of you that's pulling the strings, and it's like you're a puppet, then there would be no such thing as free will. There would be no such thing as you making a choice independent of that entity. In other words, there would be nothing that you would be able to do that God is not allowing you to do, or actually directing you to do, because people will say things when good things happen. Let me give you an example. Let's say that someone is successful in this society. People will say things like, oh, well, that person is successful because that was God's plan for their life. But the person might be successful in the music business, and let's say it's another business. The person might be a successful athlete. If the person gives credit to God, everyone automatically assumes that it was God that created that success for the person. Even when, hold on a second. Sorry about that. Ambulance passing by. Even when the person does not necessarily give credit to God, or to their religion, or to their belief system, people will still say, well, God allowed them to be successful. God allowed them to have that level of success. And my question is, well, is God picking and choosing who he wants to be successful as far as human beings go? And is he picking and choosing who's not to be successful? Because if that's the case, then if he has already decided that somebody's going to be successful, then there's nothing that person can do to not be successful. Wouldn't that be logical? That's a logical statement. That's a logical analysis. If God has already in advance decided that someone is going to be successful at something, there's nothing that the person can do to not be successful. Well, then how do you explain when people have a talent and they're not successful with the talent that God gave them? It's like people contradict everything that they say based on what they don't understand. Another example, people will say, oh, well, God gave that person a gift, a talent to do that. Maybe the person can sing very well or play an instrument extremely well, but the person does not achieve any success with their talent. But then you have someone that doesn't have talent at all, yet they achieve a very high level of success in society for whatever reason. There's a lot of people like that don't have any talent whatsoever. Their only talent, I guess, could be their ability to captivate or grab people's attention. I don't know. But my point is, how can you give credit to God only when good things happen to people? And why don't people give God credit when things don't happen for people? So the same way that you're giving God credit for things happening, who's receiving the credit when things don't happen? Or when things happen that are very bad, like extremely bad. Like you got pedophiles walking around, you got murderers walking around that's just straight killing people. You got people, children in other countries starving to death. Like, and by the millions, not a few here and there. Millions of children under the age of 5 every year starve to death. My question is, well, where is God's hand regarding those people? And then people will say things like, oh, well, you know, those are the people that don't believe. Those are the non-believers. So God allows that to happen. That's ridiculous. How can you have an entity that's all loving, all knowing, and then have the things that we actually see take place within our world? It doesn't mix. It doesn't make sense. And this is exactly why you have many people that don't fall into religion, because I'm not asking anything crazy. I'm asking regular, logical questions that any person would ask. The same way that a child would ask you questions as the parent. It's like, oh, well, you're my mommy or you're my daddy, so why can't I have this or have that? And your reply might be, well, I don't want you to have that. When something bad happens to your child, they ask, why did this happen to me? And as a parent, maybe you can't even explain why it happened to them. So your reply might be, well, things just happen. A child doesn't understand things just happen. What the hell does that even mean? There's cause and effect. So if you were doing something, the reason that it happened is because of what you were probably doing that caused it to happen. You see the difference in the reply? So again, I don't understand why people still always give credit to God when good things happen to people, but they never explain why horrific things happen to people. They give no explanation for that, and they don't want to put God into that. They only want to put the good stuff into the God conversation. And even in scripture, like in the Old Testament, there were many instances where God actually killed people, or God instructed people that were following him to kill people. But then one of the 10 commandments is thou shalt not kill. So you see the contradiction. And I don't even think it's contradiction. I think that it's not fully understood by people. And it's not understood by the people that claim to be of the religion. So if you can't explain the why behind something, you're better off saying, I don't know. But instead of people saying, especially religious folk, instead of religious people saying, I don't know, they'll never say, I don't know. They'll always say, well, God wanted it that way. God works in mysterious ways. What the hell is that? Like, where does that leave us as far as having an understanding of the God that you want everyone to serve? And then when it comes to like worshiping God, why does the entity or the creator of everything that we see need to be worshipped and praised? That he doesn't sound like God. He doesn't sound like a superhuman, extraordinary being. He sounds like a regular person. That's how people operate and function. People love to be praised and love to receive accolades when they do something. Then there's instances of when God displays that he's jealous. Like people have actually said, well, God is a jealous God. How is God jealous? What the hell is he jealous of? What could he possibly be jealous of? The creator of the whole universe, he made you. He made your mind, your brain, everything that functions inside of you. He created that. How is it possible for him to be jealous of anyone or anything? It doesn't make sense. And this is again what keeps people shifting their accountability and responsibility to someone else. So anytime they can't explain anything, they always shift it to the God idea. Always. If it's unexplainable, their answer is, well, God works in mysterious ways. Well, God allows things to happen. Well, God let it happen because, he wants to be glorified. What? What are you talking about? It's just is way too many. It's too many instances of contradiction for people to keep up with. And then people begin to get brainwashed into a set format and way of thinking, and they sound exactly like how I'm repeating these replies. They sound exactly like this. God works in mysterious ways. Oh, that was God's plan for that person. Well, what is his plan for you? If you're a victim of a rape or you're a victim of a pedophile, was that his plan for you? Children that have horrific things happen to them, was that God's plan for that child? It does not make sense. What type of loving, caring God would allow such things to happen to children? And then people get mad when you ask these questions. Religious people get very upset because they feel like you're trying to debate or you're trying to question God. I'm not questioning God. I'm questioning you. I'm asking you to explain the God that you're telling me about, the all-loving, all-caring God that you're telling me about. Oh, well, you have to love God. I never seen God. I see human beings every day. And even in the Bible, in the book of John, John talks about that. He says, well, how can you love God who you've never seen and not love your brother and sister who you see every day? Is that not a logical question? And this is coming from a disciple of Jesus himself, asking that question. How can you love God who you've never seen and not love the people that you see every day? Logical question. Human beings will continue to create the world that we are all living in. And you're either creating it actively or passively. Because if you're allowing systems to run the way that everything is working in our society, which is exactly what we have, systems run the world. Systems created by people that are evil and people that only want to rule and to control the world themselves. There's obviously an agenda already in place that is running the systems that we are all a part of. That's exactly why the systems work the way that they do. It's just like, well, what type of system takes from the majority of people and gives it all to a very small group of people? That's the way that the system is set up. That's the way it's been set up for centuries. Like, it's not new. It's just, it's like a modern day type of, I don't even know what you call it. In the past, there were different names given for it. Feudalism, elitism, where kings and queens ruled based on their wealth and power. It's the same thing today. The only difference is that the tool that's being used is money, and money is something that's not even real. So they're controlling everyone with something that is artificial. It's made up. It's not even a real thing. Yet they control the entire world with it. They're able to extract resources from the earth and utilize those resources strictly for their benefit only. So this will continue to take place until people begin to question the system. You have to question things. You have to question the system, and you have to question religion. Religion is a system. It's a system that's used to control people. Religion is not God. Religion is what man uses to interpret what God is to other people, and then use that to control those people. That's what religion is. Because your faith and belief has nothing to do with religion. If you believe in something, if you believe in someone, just like if you believe in yourself, you believe that you're able to do certain things, more than likely that belief in yourself will create the energy that's necessary to make whatever it is that you're trying to do come into existence. That actually sounds more like God than anything. Your ability as a human being to believe. Oh, well, what are you believing in? You believe in yourself. You're here. You're able to make choices. Why would you not believe in yourself? So the more people that actually begin to question the way that the things on the outside of us work, and begin to internalize it and flip it around, so that we ask basic questions like, well, why can't everyone benefit from all of the good that the earth is providing for us as human beings? The systems that we're all cooperating with should be able to provide for every person. Why is it only providing for certain people? And then everyone else is left to try to survive and just try to maintain, I guess, any type of position, any level of position within the system. It's like when you're born, by default, you should have everything that you need today. We're not living in a time where we don't have knowledge and information, and we haven't developed science. We've developed science and technology to the point where we're able to do so many different things that solve so many different problems, yet it's done from within the confines of a monetary system. So in other words, people only will release information and technology if there's money to be made, because they want to be able to benefit themselves from the idea or from the information. And this is all crazy. It's all crazy. But anyway, let me end the video there. This is Mark Fuller, Free World Order. Thank you all for watching and listening. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make sure that you like us on Facebook. Get yourself a monthly contribution plan. You can start with $1 a month, $5 a month. I'll put the links below in the description box for you to support us financially, help us reach our goal of raising $1 billion. We are going to raise money, and we're gonna build a resource-based city. And that city is gonna be the blueprint for what we can do, what we're capable of doing as human beings. I don't get it when it comes to people offering lip service all the time. Oh, well, there's nothing that we can do. It's plenty that we can do. Problem is, you're not educated enough to know what to do with the money that comes through your hands. So you just put the money right back into the system that keeps us in the same position that we're in. If you keep a system going that is designed to keep everyone subservient to the system, and I mean subservient, I'm not even saying reliant on the system. It's beyond relying on the system. You are subservient to the system. You serve the system. The system is not serving you. And we need to flip that around. Using the actual resources of our planet to provide for ourselves is a much better thing than using money that is only reaching the people that created the money as the sole beneficiaries of the wealth that the money is able to obtain. So it's like money is giving access to whatever people want to have, but you're never going to have enough money to do anything with. You see what I'm saying? You only have enough money to survive within the system and to function within the system. That's it. We want to go outside of the box, and we want to actually begin acquiring the resources that we can use to provide for ourselves so that we don't have to rely on the system and be subservient to this money, because it's not real. The only way to do that is to take that same money that comes through our hands and put it somewhere where we're going to be able to acquire resources, not put it into the system so that the system continues to repeat itself on us. That's the difference. So that's what we're doing with the Free World Order. All right. This is Mark Fuller signing off. Make sure that you support us. We need your support in order to make this happen for all people, not just a few. I mean, if you like the idea that I love the idea of us being able to do for ourselves collectively as human beings, instead of relying on a system that keeps us all subservient to the system. It keeps us all enslaved. If you think you're not a slave to money, you are greatly mistaken, because you are, and you will continue to be, and your children will continue to be, unless we do something. If we don't do anything, nothing's going to happen. Simple as that. Mark Fuller signing off. You guys take care. Peace.